Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside the Locker Room. My name is Brian Grissom, and I am live and in color from Cleveland State Community College here in the Media Center, and I am joined today by our women's softball coach, Miss Katie Willingham. And forgive me if I call you Romanger,
okay.
but
okay.
you're used to that, aren't
Absolutely. You wouldn't be the only one around
here.
here.
Hey, we're going to talk a little softball today, and we've got the snow off the field long enough to play a little softball recently, didn't we?
Yes.
Tell me, let's just start off first of all and talk about, you know, we're so excited. We're getting into our workouts over the wintertime, and we're ready to play. And then it snows on us.
Oh, absolutely.
So I guess it affects the players more than it does the coaches.
It does. They begin to build this momentum.
Absolutely.
Of the first game, the date, they count down and everything. And then when the date kind of just disappears because it's the weather, you know, it kind of bums them out a little bit.
Yep.
And then they try to carry it on to the next date, and when the next date gets canceled, you know. So unfortunately, that's just the hand you're dealt with, and you just try to do the best of it.
That's right. You just have to roll with it.
Absolutely.
And that's the way it is with spring sports. We were supposed to play our first game on the 10th of February, and we got on the field on the 19th of February. So that was a little delay. So, you know, it kind of, when you get into softball season, you try to build momentum and rhythm. Get in a rhythm, and you play ever so often. And so now you're just starting to get into that,
We're starting to get a rhythm, absolutely. Our bats are actually starting to come around now.
There you go. That's what we're moving on. Let's start out from the beginning. Tell me how, just a brief, how the fall workouts went and through Christmas and building up to the season.
Well, our fall, you know, it actually turned out way better than I expected. Our girls, the biggest thing that you'll probably hear me talk about multiple times is our chemistry.
Right.
Our chemistry in the fall was just great. We played great teams. We played really good ball, considering it was the first time we'd been on the field together, all 18 young ladies. We kept up well with UTC. We actually beat them this fall. We had great performances out there. Showings out that game. We played well against the other teams this fall. So, you know, we were looking very optimistic going into, you know, Christmas workouts and everything like that. Just wanted to keep that hard work that they built up in the fall, keep it going through the Christmas and hopefully carry over into January.
Absolutely. You know, you talked about chemistry. Chemistry can sometimes make or break a team, can't it?
Absolutely. If you ever coach young ladies.
Especially young ladies.
Yes. You will understand that chemistry has a lot to do with how they play ball.
That's right.
And because we put so many emotions into it anyway.
Right.
So
that's right.
So I've been blessed with great chemistry, just coachable kids. So really looking forward to getting that rhythm going.
Fantastic. Let's talk about our roster a little bit.
Okay.
Let me just slide that over, and you can slide down through there.
Okay.
Just briefly go down through there and tell us a little bit about the girls and you know how they're they all fit in there. You're gonna need every one of them.
Absolutely.
As the season goes along.
I'll go ahead and start with the sophomores first, because I'll kind of tell you how they've grown.
There's 9, I believe 9 apiece. Is that right?
Yes.
And that's the balance you always want, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely. As for sophomore-wise, though, we have really good talent coming back, and the experience that they had last year is going to hopefully carry us in the leadership area. Right here at the top of the list is Sierra Belcher. Sierra's from Chattanooga. Sierra has worked incredibly hard. She has worked.
You can see it.
Yes. This kid, I'm so incredibly proud of my sophomores, but she is one of them who, the other day, I said, thank you for working as hard as you do, because your bat has really came around and everything. And we've added another volunteer coach to our staff, Coach Leslie Bennett. She was previously at Tennessee Christian Preparatory School. And Coach Bennett has come in and just really pushed our outfielders to be that much better. And Sierra has responded.
Fantastic.
Sierra has really done, you know, well out there and worked on everything as she could to be a better outfielder. And left field is her strong suit.
Sometimes just a different voice and maybe just one little different point of view.
You'd be surprised how one word, the vocabulary word, can change the momentum in these girls and just get them fired up for it. So next down we have Kelsey Haley. Hey, as I call her. Hey is really, wow, if you'd have seen this kid when she came and tried out to now how she was on the mound yesterday.
Yes.
She came in with not a lot of confidence, you know, just unsure of herself and her ability. And being a left-handed pitcher, that's a gold mine for us coaches.
Oh, absolutely.
We love left-handed pitchers,
yes.
and ones that are actually, you know, have great movement. And Hey has went above and beyond. The command that she has now, the confidence that she has, the composure she has on the mound, it's just a great transformation. I wish I had her for 2 more years.
Yeah, absolutely,
So,
absolutely. Well, you talked about her, Kelsey. I sat behind the home plate last night, yesterday in the game, and I'm not sure she threw one pitch that was straight.
Oh yeah, no, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. Her best pitch is her curveball, which comes inside a right-handed batter.
Is she trying to throw a curve, or is it just the lefty?
she's throwing a curve. So
I'm an old baseball guy,
Yeah.
and if I ever saw a lefty, I could depend on it not being straight.
yeah,
So,
absolutely, absolutely. And she's got a great rise ball too. So that movement she has from being a left-handed pitcher to a right-handed batter, it keeps them off balance.
She had so many girls on the handle yesterday,
absolutely.
and that's exactly what she's shooting
and that's her
for.
strength.
Right,
that's her strength.
absolutely.
We like to go with that. So next on the list we've got Leslie Nunley. Leslie Nunley may not sound familiar to you, but she's Leslie Steele last year. She got married over the summer.
Yes.
But Leslie has also worked incredibly hard in the outfield. Coach Bennett, like I said, has pushed them, and Leslie is, constantly wanting to be better. She doesn't like to settle, so she's constantly wanting to be better, and she has worked very hard. And we actually made a transition over the summer and fall and made Leslie a slapper. Believe it or not, we made Leslie a slapper, and her confidence is a little low with it right now. But yesterday she was a right-handed batter, and she hit very well.
Okay,
so
now,
she has the ability to go either way.
Explain now for those of us that weren't familiar with those terms what a slapper is.
A slapper is someone on the left-handed side of the plate who basically runs through the box and
uses their speed.
Yes, uses their speed. And Leslie's very fast.
Right.
Leslie's very fast. She didn't have very much luck last year with getting on base a whole lot. So we try to make that transition to making her in a left-hand slapper. She's just too fast not to have on the bases.
Right.
So, but we made a little bit of switch recently and let her go right-handed again, and she's hitting very well. So she's one of those that it's very hard to keep her out of the lineup.
Well, that's one of the subtle things about softball. Unless you're an inside softballer, when I'm like I said, I'm a baseball guy. So when I first started covering softball, I said, well, no, what in the world is she doing that for? And then as I went along with it, I said, that's a big tool to have somebody that can do that.
Absolutely. I mean, from home to first is 60 feet. The faster you can get there.
You get a run and start.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, with her speed, we felt like we needed to try something else, and it's really actually helped her because she sees the ball on the left-handed side, which makes her a better, picking up the better on the right-handed side.
Gives her better perspective.
Absolutely.
All right.
Next, we have Sarah O'Rear. Sarah has been clutch in so many ways. Sarah has worked. If there's someone if you ever hear hitting upstairs in the upstairs gym, it's Sarah. Sarah's constantly working on the tee, and the thing about Sarah is she is a very consistent, just dependable bat, and she works very hard at it. She's mostly last year she was my designated player or my designated hitter, and she came through. She's a great leadoff. I really have no words other than she's a great hitter. Last year she batted 340 last year, her freshman year, so I really expect big things from her.
Well, it runs in the family. Her older sister.
Well, it's her cousin.
Her cousin, okay.
Abby,
right,
Abby was her cousin. I had Abby a few years ago, and Abby too did a very great year.
I can see the family resemblance because of just their approach at the plate and everything like that.
Absolutely. So, Sarah's a hard worker, and you're probably going to see her in the leadoff position 90% of our games.
Good deal.
We also have, Kristen Qualls. Kristen Qualls is actually a sophomore transfer from that school we do not talk about, Chattanooga State. But Kristen has really worked hard. She comes in with unbelievable power. When I first saw her, she worked out for me and everything. She was just a very powerful kid. So with some, injuries she had during the fall and everything we worked through, she's kind of settled in and is making some noise out there. She came in and had the winning double against Gadsden State opening up, and she had a great hit yesterday against Gadsden down right field line. She had a triple. So she's definitely worked hard. She's gotten herself in shape, taking care of her body, and she's doing her job at the plate.
Absolutely.
So,
welcome addition.
Yes, absolutely. We have the Swaney twins. We have Amber and Ashley.
The difference from last year to this year.
Oh, absolutely.
Amazing.
Absolutely. Those kids, the two things they have in common are they look exactly alike and the love for the game. They want to win.
You can see it in their body movements.
Absolutely. They want to win. They bring that just motivation, that energy.
Constant hustle.
All the time. I mean, they they expect no less, and neither do I. So they work really hard. So Ashley does spend some time behind the plate and at third, and we're really, keeping her feet moving at third. She's a great leader behind the plate, so I really look to her for that. Amber, played almost every game last year at second base, and she will share some time at second base and probably a little time in the outfield. But her biggest thing is getting her bat consistent, because her bat is just one we need every once in a while. Because you're 7 and 8, in the lineup.
Right.
You kind of look for some contact, hitting, and she brings that. So
Right.
we can actually put her down there. So and depend and trust that she's going to hit the ball.
Good deal.
So,
Make contact. If you make contact, things will happen.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. And then we have Ida Watson. She is probably one of the most unorthodox pitchers I've ever come across. In fast pitch softball, it is obviously the pitching is different than baseball. In baseball, your curveball is a lot slower. It's the the off speed a little bit, 12 to 6. In softball, typically 99% of the time it's fast and it moves away from a right-handed hitter. Well, Ida's curveball is slow, and it's like a changeup that moves away from the hitter.
Right.
So she keeps them off balance. I mean, she's worked hard. She had wrist surgery after we finished our season last spring, and she's went through therapy. She didn't get to play in the fall, so she was working through that and everything, getting healthy. And she's really come in and just stepped up. She knows it's her last season here, and she's working very hard. So we really look to Ida to whether it's Hey is starting on the mound or Ida starting on the mound, that presence, that sophomore presence and experience is really going to come in big.
We look for Ida to get stronger as the season goes along.
Absolutely.
As she gets her confidence back and that wrist and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. She's, started off a little shaky at first, getting used to everything. But once she gets back into it, I mean, she's gonna be a force to be reckoned with.
Well, it's only minor surgery if it's not to you.
Exactly.
So especially your wrist in softball and your confidence. You have to get your confidence back and you have to let it go and say, well, that didn't hurt.
Yeah.
So now she can go from there.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
All right, who else we got here?
Right,
Is that all our sophomores?
That's all the sophomores.
All right, let's touch on our freshmen here.
All right, we have a few local kids that are on the roster this year, and one of them is Bailey Carroll. Bailey Carroll was, I know, a multiple sport athlete at Bradley Central, and this kid is just, she's an athlete. She is an athlete. She's done really well. She started playing in the fall at third base, and she had a little problem with being ready and that quickness in the in the college game. So she's made the transition at second base, and she's done very well there and everything. So we look to have Bailey. She's a strong hitter too. So we're still working with Bailey to get her strength, get her confidence, and just be that consistent ball player that she needs to be at this level. So another athlete that we have from Bradley Central is Tori Roberts. Tori was a first baseman all 4 years at Bradley. Dependable glove, very dependable glove. She knows how to play first base, and believe it or not, that's kind of hard to do.
It is.
If
it's not as easy as it looks.
No, if you got to know how to cover the butt, know how to cover the base, and she does know how to do that. So we just got to work on her bat also. The biggest thing about the freshman is getting that transition from, seeing okay pitching in high school to seeing really good pitching in college, and being
a lot of that's confidence.
Absolutely. I mean, you can work all day on the tee, but until you get into the box there and have a little bit of a better mental game, then you'll be a better hitter.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
We also have Allison Conley. Allison is also from Bradley. She was the pitcher there, and Allison, I say this today, and I said it yesterday, and I'll say it probably in the future, probably the best changeup you'll see in the conference. With her too, it's a confidence thing. Making that transition from high school to college, getting on the mound, having that presence and that confidence to make those pitches work, not worry about what the umpire's calling or not calling, and just keep throwing your game.
That's right.
The more she works at it, the better she's going to get. I really truly believe that. So she's a smart kid, she's a coachable kid, and I really look forward to the months to come.
Right.
Let's see. Next one we have is Perry Hindy. Perry is a blessing. That kid, she comes from Prattville, Alabama. And Prattville is right outside Montgomery, Alabama, about 4 hours away. I honestly do not know how this kid came to me, but I'm not going to complain. I love it.
Absolutely, yeah.
She is powerful. She is smart. She's versatile. She's one you're going to have to watch.
That's right.
She hit 2 home runs against Chattanooga this weekend. I mean, just strong bat. She's she's just a leader. She loves the game. She loves to win. So she's going to get a lot of playing time out in the field. So.
She's that middle of the lineup hitter that you hope and pray for.
Oh yeah, especially as a freshman.
Absolutely.
You look at her and you're like, she's really that powerful. Yeah, she bench presses more than anybody else on the team. She's confident. She comes in like a sophomore.
She reminds me a little bit of a young lady we had played third base for us a year or two ago, McKinney.
Oh, Madison.
Yes.
Yes, Madison.
Reminds me of her a little bit.
Oh, very intense. Yeah, Madison's very intense. But Perry is in the game.
Yep.
I mean, if she's not on defense, she's in the dugout analyzing and summing up and looking forward to and talking to her teammates. I mean, she's a great ball player, great athlete.
Good deal.
Next we have on the list is Jennifer Kern. Jennifer Kern's another from Alabama, I should say, excuse me. And she too is just a defensive wonder. That kid is dirty every time we get step off the field. Okay, if it's practice,
every team has one, don't they?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. She is constantly working hard on her defense. I mean, there isn't if it's in the air, if it's on the ground, and it's right at Jennifer, we know it's going to be taken care of. She's still working on her bat and the confidence in it. She did hit very well for her high school and in summer ball, and then that transition into college has got to her a little bit. So she's working on getting that confidence back. She has a very, very sound fundamentals when it comes to hitting. She's one of those ideal. You could take a picture of her every single time she swings, and it's very by the book.
Right.
So she's very sound. So I look forward to having great solid defense from her. And then I tell her every day, and I tell the coaches, she's one swing away. She's one swing away from having that door open and being a consistent contact hitter. So she could be right down there with Amber Swaney in that 7-8 spot, or even 9 spots where I can have a contact hitter and base runners. So
does that about take care of everybody?
Well, no, we've got a few more.
Alexa.
Right, okay. Alexa Perrion, she is from Sweetwater, her favorite small town up north. She is from Sweetwater, and I call her the Beast. This kid, she has worked very hard at pitching. She is at the beginning of fall. We were just kind of like, okay, we knew we were going to have to put some time into her and help them with some of the movement in her pitches, and she has just really come along. I mean, yesterday she pitched the first game against Gadsden, and unfortunately every run that scored while she was out there was unearned. So, and it's really hard to tell, a kid like that who's worked hard that it's not your fault. Keep doing your job.
Right.
And so, but
hard to see sometimes.
Absolutely. But she has worked extremely hard, and believe it or not, she is one of the hardest working out there. Like she likes to take ground balls at first and third, and and I like to joke around and say you can tell a pitcher on the field. They're the ones that
they're hunting something to do.
Yeah. Well, she's a great kid, very coachable. She's one of those I'm very happy I found. She emailed me, got in contact with me, so she's been a hard worker. So we like Alexa a lot. We have Hannah Powell, who's also from Chattanooga. She went to high school with Sierra. Hannah is a very strong catcher. Excuse me. She has the arm. She has that softball smart behind the plate. She's a very good catcher. We just got to work on her leadership behind the plate. As a former catcher, I really expect. I have high expectations for my catchers. You need to do this, you need to be better at this and everything. And you'll constantly hear me go, well, if I did it, I know you can. So, decades ago. So, but Hannah's very strong. We're working on her bat a little bit more. She's a powerful bat. We're just trying to work on a consistency with her.
I've got to brag on Hannah a little bit. She made 2 catches, a line shots yesterday on third base, and both times were crucial times in the ball game.
Absolutely. We had bases loaded, we had runners at first and second, and Hannah had a misplay.
Right.
And I said, don't worry about it. You got to get the next one. And she did. I mean, if she hadn't caught it, it would have been down the left field line, and bases would have been clear.
The funny thing about that is, there was a little roller. It wasn't going 1 mile an hour, and she booted it.
Yeah, she did.
And the very next pitch, somebody hits a shot at her 100 miles an hour, and she just catches it.
Oh yeah, it was nothing. The easy ones are hard, and the hard ones are easy.
I can feel her pain in that one because I did the same thing when I was playing. I wanted a shot at me every time.
Oh yeah.
Because the little 4-footer, the 15 hopper as I called it, you had time to think about it.
And that's way too much time to think about.
Way too much time. And she did the same thing yesterday. So
she's very. I mean, like I said, she's a very
Yeah.
strong kid. So the more she keeps working at it and gets that confidence up, she's going to be a very good ball player. Let's see. We also have Miranda Smith. Miranda is from Knoxville, and she is probably one fast kid. I mean, she is super fast. She is also a slapper. She's only a slapper. She works very hard at not only a drag bunt, but a soft slap and a hard slap. And yesterday, she stood up on the left-hand side like a power hitter and just put one in the 5-6 hole in left field. So she's working at all aspects to be a better player. If she can be a little bit more consistent and at the plate and everything, she's going to be in the lineup every time. So once she makes that transition to college, she'll be one to watch out for. And then lastly, I forgot about this one, is Megan Ward. She is also from Bradley Central. Megan is coachable. Oh my goodness! If you say go run, she says how fast and how far. She is looking. She's eager to learn. She's eager to grow. And that's just something I love to have. She has really come around. I mean, from what I saw her, these Bradley girls, may not like hearing this, but I've seen them since they were little. Through my connections to the community and everything like that. I've watched them play from 8, 9, 10, all the way through high school. So the growth that Megan has had from high school to Cleveland State has just been unbelievable. So she also plays outfield, and she has worked very hard, and Coach Bennett has pushed her, and she's done very well. So
the one common thing, and does that cover everybody now?
Yes, it does.
The one common thing that we hear, as we've talked about all the girls, transition from high school to college.
Absolutely.
And some people might not think that's a huge deal, but it is a huge deal.
It is a huge deal. It's
in all aspects, not just on the field.
Absolutely. I mean, you go from high school ball where you get maybe some good pitching here and there against the good teams, but most of the time you get okay pitching.
Right.
And, you get a lot of hits. The game is constantly going. When you go to college is where you see the great hitters and the great pitchers go.
The best of the best pitchers.
Best of the best,
right,
yeah.
right.
I always tell the girls, if you take the best pitchers from your area and they go to college, that's what you've got, you know. So that transition, yes, learning the game, learning how to handle the game.
Yes.
Okay. Softball and baseball is the game of failure. If you're hitting 3 times out of 10, you're doing very well.
You're doing great. Yes.
So
that means you failed 7 times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you fail 7 times, you're doing great. So that's the thing we're teaching these young ladies is have that mental game, and the only downfall about being at a junior college is by the time they make that transition and by the time they learn how to be college athletes, they're off to another
They move along.
school. Excuse me, yes. So I always joke around. I wish, there's a few of them I always say, I wish I had for 2 more years. I wish I had for 2 more years.
Absolutely.
But that's just part of this. This level.
That's the hand we're dealt.
Absolutely,
so, absolutely. Let's very quickly go over the Lady Cougars, as we talked about at the first of the program. They started off the season at Gaston State.
Yes.
We actually just had our first home games yesterday.
Yes.
As we were taping this show on Tuesday, on Monday afternoon. We played Gaston at home. We'll just kind of skip over those middle 4 games.
Yeah, that's okay. Well,
we started off conference play, and Chattanooga State's a great team. They're always nationally ranked.
Absolutely. I had originally planned our first game to be February 10th,
Yes.
have another game on that Saturday, have another game before we
Right.
So we were going to have about 6 games before Chattanooga State. But, Mother Nature had other plans and decided that, Tennessee Valley was going to have snow
Yes.
one week and then 60-degree weather the next.
Yes,
so
we did.
We always joke around, if you don't like the weather, wait a minute, it'll
That's
change.
right, it'll change.
But we went into Chattanooga State, and traditionally they have a good program. I mean, even back when I was in school, I mean, it's just one of those things, a strong softball program. So we got to play Gadsden before, and then I just was hoping that, they weren't, they were just, ready to go. I knew they were ready to go.
Well, you really didn't know how it was going to go.
I really didn't know. The only thing I didn't know was Chattanooga State went, played a few tournaments, and they had 12 games before they played us.
Right.
So, that could be one of those things where, they probably just got too comfortable. I was kind of hoping that, yes, they had played 12 games, but I was hoping that maybe they got a little too comfortable, and we were just ready to go, But like I said, they're just a strong team. They have very good pitching. They always have, probably always will. But we really couldn't get our bats hot. So.
Let's talk about the fourth game of the series on Sunday afternoon against
Yes.
Chattanooga State. They had beat us pretty good first three games.
Oh, yes.
So we got to play them again on Sunday afternoon. This back end of a doubleheader.
Yeah.
And we jumped on them early, and then they came back, and then we came within an eyelash of
Oh, we
coming
did.
back on them.
We did. We tell the girls that they have to win every inning. If you don't score, then you've got to play perfect defense and don't let them
Right.
score. So that's how you win every inning. But that fourth game, they came out. We were visiting teams. We got first at bat. We scored 2 runs. So I was like, great, this is good. This is how we need to
Absolutely.
start.
Absolutely.
And they scored 1 in the bottom of the first, and then it was just goose eggs up on the scoreboard
Right.
for a while. And that's, even though the scores don't show it, the girls in the first 2 games and then game 4, they hung with Chattanooga State very well, very, very well. But we just really could not get our bats hot.
Right,
So,
right.
that was the only downfall. So Kelsey threw a great game in game 1. She threw a great game in game 4. But she, we just got to back her up, offensively on the other side of the ball.
Right. And then our other games, we split with Gadsden down there, and then we split yesterday with
Yeah.
Gadsden here at home. And the first game with Gadsden, we dug ourselves a hole.
Absolutely.
And we're 60 feet away from tying it up. See?
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
there's positives that you can pull out of all this.
Absolutely. They continue to fight, and they will, that's one thing, either it's Gadsden State or Chattanooga we played, they are constantly fighting. And
Good deal.
that's good. That's good. That's
All
good to
right.
have.
Well, fantastic. I think that about takes care of it for today, Katie. I appreciate you coming in and joining us here in TV land.
Thank you much for having me. Appreciate it.
Well, that'll do it for this edition of Inside the Locker Room. My name is Brian Grissom saying good night and God bless everybody.